From the Opupco Studios in Oklahoma City, this is OU Basketball with Mike Baldwin. I'm Jenni Carlson. Mike, Sooners in a little bit of a tough stretch right now. A loss at Missouri over the weekend, a loss at Texas a couple days before, or lost to Texas a couple days before. Some games that you could see the Sooners losing, but had a little bit of a shaky weekend, that's for sure.
Well, the second half against Missouri was one of their worst halves. They won those 4 in a row, and I think expectations rose a little bit that this team was maybe a little better than everybody thought, and it sort of is, but then they got in the part of the schedule, nationally ranked, nationally ranked, nationally ranked. Well, guess what? Oklahoma's not quite there yet. They can maybe upset a Baylor, Colorado, they beat Tech, some of those games they won, but we knew this stretch was going to be tough. That's why I think Wednesday's game is going to be huge, because that's a Nebraska team that plays sort of like they do, has about the same kind of talent they do, and right after that, guess what? It's A&M, it's Kansas State, it's Kansas, some more rough games before they finish with a couple winnable games at the end. I think if they can get a couple more wins and go 6-10 in conference, it would be a fabulous season. Right now, though, they've lost 3 in a row. If they're not careful and lose Wednesday night, they could be right in a 7-game losing streak going into those last 2.
Isn't that crazy how a couple weeks ago we were thinking 4 wins might be a miracle, and now it's like, man, if they don't maybe get a couple more. It is perception, though, isn't it, Mike, and how this team feels about itself after this year?
Well, they gained a lot of confidence during that 4-game winning streak, and I mean, they all of a sudden showed people maybe they're a little bit better than everybody thought, but with the tough stretch coming up, yeah, I think you need to get 1 or 2 more. You don't want to finish the season on an 8, 9, 10-game losing streak or only get 1 more the rest of the way. I think they've got some building blocks for the future. We wrote about Romero Osby on Saturday, the guy that only averaged 4.5 points at Mississippi State, but teammates rave on how good he is, and Kay Davis even said he's got a little bit of James Anderson, the former OSU star, in him. So I think if they get a couple more wins, maybe even steal one in Kansas City at the tournament, they have a little momentum in the offseason and something to build on. You don't want to end the season, I think, on a long losing streak or in a big slump. It'll take away a little bit of the momentum they had a month ago.
You talk about building blocks and a couple freshmen that have been playing well. Cam Clark, he sort of disappears. Now he's back. Tyler Neal is getting more minutes. Are they starting to build around some of these young guys? I mean, maybe they have to.
Well, Cameron Clark, I think, is the mystery. He's the most athletic guy on the team right now. And then during Big 12 conference play, he was almost leading the team in scoring there for a while. Texas OSU, he scores a combined 2 points in 2 games, and they're like, what happened to Cameron Clark? Part of it, he lost his aggressiveness, the things he thought about when he was getting on a roll, and then that came back Saturday against Missouri. Freshmen are up and down, that's expected, but I think he's got some potential. He just needs to be a little more consistent.
Yeah. Lastly, let's talk about the OU women. They've got a marquee game on Big Monday. They're at UConn tonight to play the Huskies, an out-of-conference game smack in the middle of conference play. Is this one that Sherry Cole gladly does because of that TV exposure?
Well, I mean, it's one of those, they got blown out at Baylor, blown out at College Station. This is another one. They're a heavy underdog. They're 0-8 all-time against the Huskies. It's not one they're supposed to win, but like Sherry said, we can't lay a worse egg than we did in those 2 games. So she sees it as a nothing-to-lose thing. And I think this team, even if they lose, they need to play well because they have not beat a top 20 team all year long. They probably won't beat them Monday night, but I think they need to at least play well to get some momentum going into postseason.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.